So many people say, I don't actually know how to do inner child work. Rachel, teach me. What do I do? How do I actually get to the core wound? If it's so important to understand my inner child experience and their emotions and energy in order to heal my relationship and attachment patterns, then how do I do it? And so I'm here to help. When we talk often about inner child, we think about like the 5-year-old version of us. And while that's also part of our inner child, the real truth about the inner child that is every version of us up until this point. And any part of our journey from moment of conception all the way up until now, we have opportunities for energy to get stuck when we go into survival mode. And think about how many times us in our society go into survival mode. It's pretty frequent. We live oftentimes in a huge state of survival. And so when we're in survival, the energy gets suppressed down because our bodies, minds, spirits say, we can't do this right now. We can't process this right now. And so we'll deal with it later. And then do we deal with it later? Very, very, very infrequently. And so when we find ourselves in these loops of, I am playing out the same pattern, I'm feeling the same way, oh my God, things never change, I never feel safe in relationship, I'm never understood, I am never chosen, I always attract emotionally unavailable people, no one ever shows up for me, I'm always financially insecure, right? All of these themes that we feel, fill in the blank, whatever you feel like has been a theme of your life, a state of being, an emotional state of being, it's because there's a part of your inner child anytime up until now where the energy has gotten stuck and it continues to loop. The universe, the world continues to give you more and more opportunities to try to move that energy. And typically, because we're conditioned to be in that state of survival, we don't actually know how to move the energy. We're never taught how to sit with an emotion, how to allow it to move through the body. Yet, if you watch those videos, right, of animals shaking after they have a traumatic experience, that's how we move the emotions. And so this is why breath work is something I always recommend. This is why it's becoming so big. This is where yoga or being in the body, somatic movement, dance, sitting with emotion, like really learning how to grieve, really learning how to emote, how to emote. Like as a society, we have this belief of what are good emotions and successful ways of being, where it's like, oh, if you're happy all the time, successful all the time, peaceful all the time, you've made it, right? The guru, like, oh, they're meditating all the time. We've idealized that state versus idealizing the full range and roller coaster of emotions as that might be success, right? To feel everything is actually, in my opinion, this is my biased opinion, is success. It shows a resilient nervous system to be able to say, even the grief, the sadness, the anger, all of that is still beautiful. It all needs to be here. We're human beings. It all needs to be here. All of it is on purpose. And so when I look at somebody that has comfort and resiliency and the capacity in their nervous system to feel, I know that they have a pretty good relationship with their inner child, because whether or not their parents showed them that it's safe to feel all the things, they've learned that they're going to choose safety in their systems to feel it all. And so this is where attachment styles, when you look at insecure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, or disorganized attachment from childhood, it's likely that the child did not feel safe to be, right? They didn't feel either attuned to, which shows up as anxious attachment. They didn't feel it was safe to be like held, and intimacy became a fear. There was a lot of chaos. Then they might have turned to avoidance, or when it was kind of like seesaw of like it's safe and then just kidding, or there's a lot of deceit or lying, that shows up more as this disorganized of like, I never know what I'm going to get, I'm always walking on eggshells and hyper vigilant. And so the inner child needs to turn any form of that insecurity. So ask yourself, I have a lot of content on this on my Instagram, ask yourself, what is my core fear? Does it show up as anxious attachment of like I fear abandonment? Does it show up as avoidant attachment where I really fear intimacy, or does it show up as disorganized where I fear rejection? Typically, we do experience all three. We're humans. However, really getting clear on how do I give my inner child that love, attention that my typical attachment style wasn't giving me. And how do I build comfort with the unknown? How do I build comfort with intimacy? How do I build intimacy with myself? How do I not abandon myself? How do I not reject myself? And this is where the inner child shows up on a day-to-day basis, where it's like, okay, I'm not going to do those three things. I'm not going to criticize. I'm not going to leave myself when I'm feeling an uncomfortable emotion. I'm going to deepen my intimacy, my sensuality, my pleasure with myself. And this is where we watch our abundance skyrocket, our trust skyrocket, our depth of connection with others skyrocket, because our inner child feels safe to be in all these states of being. And so I hope this resonates with you. I am taking on new individuals and couples. I have my background in marriage and family therapy. I specialize in attachment styles, and I take a somatic approach. We do inner child work, nervous system work, and attachment work through the lens of getting into the body, deepening the nervous system's capacity to feel that which hasn't been felt, so that we can move the energy through the body, not just moving it up and out, but moving it like down and through as well. And this is where we can really take these skills that we learn in session and apply it to our day-to-day life, where you watch your inner child and you watch yourself reconnect with your inner child, watch yourself repattern your nervous system, watch yourself deepen this security in your attachment, and as a result, you feel a deeper sense of security in your own confidence, in your work life, in your relational life, and a lot more space in your system to feel the pleasure, the intimacy, the connection in your relationships, both family, friends, and ultimately intimate relationships. So, link in my bio for a free consultation. Message me or comment here if this resonated with you, if you have any questions, and let's claim a more connected inner child.